Hello everybody and welcome to this guide and tutorial for the golden shot. Difficulty level is hard and we are going to take a look at the new course called Whistling Straits here for the Ryder Cup and 9-hole cup that is coming up, and I'm very excited to have this one in the golden shot already. Gives me a little bit extra feel going into the tournament. Before we take a closer look at the guide, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Just to address that as well, I'm all fine. I appreciate all messages, people thinking that I'm, not fine due to not streaming this Sunday, but we are on away on a mini vacation, so I'm recording this from a house out in the woods in kind of the north, some of the northern parts of Sweden. So enough about that. Let's take a look at Whistling Straits that we're gonna play. It says hole number 17. I don't understand if we're gonna see maybe 18 holes of this course eventually or something, but it's strange to me that it's called hole 17. But doesn't really matter. That's the one we have. As we don't really know much about the clubs that we're playing, the Ryder Cup clubs are a little bit different, which means that we don't really have any notes or any adjustment for them already. So I've simplified it a lot for us, which is that we are going to play, as you can see on the right hand side, 1 to 1 minus 1. I'm going to talk more about that in just a bit. So if you do get a hole in one, you get then the Tour 11 chest, basically the Ryder Cup chest. And here you can see the Ryder Cup ball, which is also a ball that I will show you in just a bit. For the amber chest, it's the yellow ring. We do have the crimson chest for the red ring, aqua chest for the light blue ring, and cobalt chest for the dark blue ring. All of them includes the Ryder Cup ball. And we're going to take a look at the Ryder Cup ball just here directly. The Ryder Cup ball is not that one. It's where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. The Ryder Cup ball is power 4, top spin boost 3, side spin 2, wind resistance 2. So this is a good ball. It also has +1 over power needle stability, which is kind of crap. But this is a good ball. Being able to get this ball in the golden shot is definitely something that I'm very excited about. So let's take a closer look then on the landing position and the adjustment together. First and foremost, we do have the adjustment above. It's the Ryder Cup driver that we're going to play in regardless what wind we're going to have. And we're going to have a wind between 4 to 6 miles per hour. We're always going to play 1 to 1 minus 1, and we are always going to play an NMT. And for those that don't know what an NMT are, it means that you shall not touch your target until it's time to adjust the rings. And the reason I do this on this golden shot is to simplify the landing position as much as possible and save us as much time as possible, especially when we do play with a club that we are not really that familiar and most likely not as comfortable with. Adjustment 1 to 1 minus 1. So basically, what you do is that you take the wind that you're getting and removing 1. So let's say if you look at the VPR table on the right hand side, let's say that we do, for the sake of the example, get 5 miles per hour, right? Then we shall adjust 4 rings. So 5 miles per hour minus 1 equal 4, which gives us then 4 rings to adjust. So 1 to 1 minus 1 in all winds, also once again to simplify it as much as possible. Let's us dig into the different shots here, and I'm going to talk you through them as well as always. And you will have to have in mind though that now we're playing with a driver. Playing with a driver requires much more focus than what it would be with a wood club or a long iron or a short iron, because the driver is then obviously a little bit messier is the wrong word, but it's tougher club to play with, or it's a tougher club to adjust for. So you need to really pay attention to your pull angle. You need to pay attention to your centering of the ball to make sure to get the outcome that you want to. Because trust me, on this course here that we do play on a kind of a bumpy fairway, if you are a bit off with what you should be doing, then you might get yourself one of the outer chests instead of getting one of the inner chests. So let's take a look at shot number 1. And we start with an NMT. Again, we don't touch the target until it's time to adjust the rings. And it's actually kind of fun here though to play with the Ryder Cup ball. So I add the spins, and then after that I will turn the screen around, and I will then adjust. You can see that I pull over bullseye, which in my opinion are very important. So for 3.1 miles per hour, I adjust 2.1 rings. And here you can also see, I don't know if this is an issue in Golf Clash at the moment, but the video here, the 3.1 miles per hour, you might remember that I said that we should be playing with a wind between 4 and 6 miles per hour, but it seems like you can get lower winds than that as well. So have that in mind. Getting it very close to an hole in one, and in and we're gonna open up the chest and see what goodies we do get in the amber chest. So Viper, Quarterback, Hornet, and we do have Kingfisher, and then some Ryder Cup balls as well. Let's go to the next shot, which is southeast headwind, so left to right cross and headwind. We're gonna apply spin, and when we do have this type of spin, I would like us to play with 3.7 backspin and zero point 0.8 bars of right spin. What we need to have in mind here when it comes to having winds coming left to right is that there is a risk of, if the wind is too much crosswind, that you will fall down the cliff. If you fall down the cliff, you need to pay close attention to what we have written on the text guide, which means that you will have to reduce the backspin. Because if you don't reduce the backspin, you will fall massively short, and that's going to obviously be a big issue. But in the end, if you don't fall down the cliff, then you obviously should just follow the numbers that we do have as well. Again, all is written on the text guide. I wanted to be perfectly clear with that there is a risk then falling down the cliff. And if we fall down the cliff, we lose distance, and therefore we need to compensate with less backspin and also some more side spin, or we will be off. Again, similar type of wind here, 4.2 miles per hour, and we're going to apply the spins. And you can see that I'm using 3.7 backspin and some right spin as well. 4.2 miles per hour, again, 1 to 1 minus 1, which is 3.2 rings, and I pull over the bullseye. And I think that's very important as well to have in mind, that I always pull over bullseye to make sure that I get myself the most consistent way of adjusting for the shot. Perfect ball, and you will notice this ball bounce on the fairway. It turns around. Now it looks like an hole in one, maybe. Yeah, it does. Nice. There we go. Got our first hole in one here, and the hole in one is going to be rare. Have that in mind. You're getting 12 Ryder Cup balls as well for that. But well, again, having a hole in one with a driver on a par three, doesn't matter how easy that par three is, that is something very tough to achieve. So I'm very pleased with that. And we're moving on with wind coming northeast. Again, no movement, don't touch the target. And we're going to apply less backspin than what we do in headwind. And I will explain why once we have taken this shot here. So we're using 3.2 backspin, zero point 0.6 right spin. 3 miles per hour equals 2 rings, because 1 to 1 minus 1 is what we in this case shall adjust. We adjust that, and as we didn't fall down the cliff, we're not going to do any changes whatsoever. We are just going to try to hit perfect, which we do. Nice. So why do I use less backspin in tailwind than what I do in headwind? I don't know if you paid attention to that, but if you looked at my bounce after I hit the ground with tailwind, I have a much flatter bounce than what I do have in headwind. What that means is that we are bouncing on a different spot depending on what wind we're having. So in that case, we're going to have to compensate for that by using less backspin when we have a flatter bounce. Otherwise, we would fall short in tailwind, which is a little bit messy when looking up, like thinking about it logically, but it works, and that's the only thing that really matters. So moving on, now we have wind coming right to left with the headwind, and I would say this wind is probably the wind that I would like to have the most, because again, you have no risk of falling down the cliff. And I also feel that based on the 48 shots that I took to design this guide for us all, then I did feel that this wind in particular were definitely the best wind to get. 4 miles per hour is 3 rings. Again, pull over the bullseye, very, very important. And as you will notice as well, that we are using side spin in the wind, and that's because we're using a natural over adjustment with our shot. So again, just that it works, doesn't matter if it makes sense, just that it works. Comes in a little bit hot maybe, but it comes in without any problems, and we do get another hole in one with another type of wind. And that is something that I'm very pleased with as well. Having hole in ones with different type of wind angles makes the guide stronger. But it doesn't mean that it's automatically going to give you an hole in one. You need to do every part correct, and obviously you need to be a little bit lucky as well. Wind coming right to left. This is a little bit with headwind, but it's definitely not as much headwind as we just had. And then obviously we're going to have to use a little bit more backspin than what we used in the other wind. And we're going to use a little bit more left spin as well. You can see I'm using one left spin together here. 3.6 miles per hour is 2.6 rings. And again, even if you might not get the wind strength that is shown on the VPR table, you're going to have in mind that you're still going to follow the same type of structure, a 1-to-1 -1. So if the wind gives you, again, if the wind gives you 3.6 miles per hour and it doesn't show anything in the chart, then you play 2.6 rings. Simple enough. Bounce on the fairway, coming up towards the green, and we think it's going to go short, but it does not. Because there is a very lovely downslope there, so it seems like it's going to go short. But I would say that we are having the hole in ones. All 3 out of 4 hole in ones came in with an absolute brilliant speed. So there we do have it, ladies and gentlemen, and we will take a look at the text guide. And text guide is, as always, made by Tony Richardson, a friend of ours here on the channel, obviously. So make sure to subscribe to his channel and support. And that also goes to this channel here. And also, if you're looking to get the best guides on the market for tournament and tour play, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. So, text guide, there we do have it, ladies and gentlemen. So, there is a couple of things we need to have in mind here. First and foremost is a no move target. So, don't touch the target until it's time to adjust the rings. Besides, in northwest wind. In northwest wind, we move one ring to the left of the NMT position before adjusting. The reason we need to do that is because we are going to have to move ourselves more left to avoid a mound that is exactly where we would like to bounce with the northwest wind. And what that will do is that if we don't counteract that, we will miss miles to the right. So that's why we move one ring to the left to counteract the problem we would have otherwise. In northeast wind, we have 2 spins depending on whether we adjust down the cliff or not. Yeah, this is important. If not falling down cliff, we do 3.2 backspin, 0.6 left spin. And if we are going to, if not falling down the cliff, we play 0.6 right spin, not left spin, right spin. And then if falling down the cliff, we're using 2.8 backspin and 1 right spin. Very important to once again have that in mind. In direct tailwind, go 3.5 backspin, 0.2 right spin. And we do have then again 3.2 backspin, no side spin whatsoever in wind coming right to left. Wind coming left to right, direct crosswind, we use 2.8 backspin, 1.2 right spin. Wind coming right to left, direct crosswind, which is 4 backspin, 1 left spin. Wind coming left to right with headwind and crosswind, 3.7 backspin, 0.8 right spin. Wind coming right to left with headwind and crosswind, 3.7 backspin, 0.5 left spin. Direct headwind, 3.7 backspin, 0.2 left spin is what we do have there. And we always adjust 1-to-1 -1 in all winds. Doesn't matter what it shows you. In the end, everyone, have in mind that this is a tough golden shot, so don't be too cranky if you don't get a hole in one. But at least getting some of the new Ryder Cup balls is exciting, at least it is for me. Make sure that you do hit the thumbs up before you are done watching, and also make sure to comment in the comment section below if you do have any question. Thank you so much for watching, and a massive good luck in the golden shot and the Golf Clash game.